All right, it is 1:30, so let's call our meeting to order. And I am Holly Williams. I'm the chairman. Let's go around the room. Mayor Doom. Oh, sorry. We'll come.
Two lights, right?
We'll go to the mayor's row first, and then we'll come to you, Yolanda.
No, I know it's me.
Jim Osborne, Mayor of Lima.
Byron Wall from Callahan.
John Graham, City Manitou Springs.
Todd Dixon, Mayor of Green Mountain Falls.
Lisa Corey, Finance Manager for PPRTA.
Rick Sonnenberg, PPRTA Program Manager.
Jennifer Ivey, Legal Counsel.
Andy Gunning, PPACG Executive Director.
Gail Sturdivant, City Engineer and Deputy Public Works Director for the City of Colorado Springs.
Josh Palmer, County Engineer.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
Lojinos Gonzalez, El Paso County Commissioner.
And then we also have, I guess I understand Councilmember Helms is online.
Yes, Randy Helms.
Okay.
Colorado Springs City Council.
All right, and Vice Chair Risley is out of town today. So, okay, number 2 is the approval of agenda. We have a request to amend the agenda to bring item 8E ahead of item 7A. So if I could entertain a motion to amend the agenda to bring 8E so that it is before 7A, I'll take that motion now. To approve the amended agenda.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move we approve the amended agenda, moving item 8E before 7 alpha. Mayor Osborne, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that was support it. We got to, sorry, you're just on a slight time delay, Randy. So,
Right. Yes, aye. Yes.
okay.
I support.
I'll slow down. Okay, public comment period for items not on the agenda. The public can email general comments or questions regarding the agenda in advance of a meeting to the PPACG office manager at conference@ppacg.org. Public comment speakers are limited to 5 minutes each, whether in person or via Zoom. Do we have anyone in the room who wishes to make public comment? Okay, come forward and tell us your name. And I'll set a timer. How's that sound? Yeah,
There we
now
go.
it is.
I'm Dr. Schultz. I live at 1325 North Cascade. I do happen to be the president of the Old North End, but I'm specifically not here representing the Old North End. In fact, the Old North End decided on the subject I will talk about to specifically avoid getting involved. However, I couldn't let it pass. I'm here to talk about PPRTA number 3, the specific projects P335, 336, 337, 338. I'm sure you are all very familiar with these 4 projects on a 2.2 mile stretch of North Nevada. The reason I say you must be familiar is because it represents almost 20% of the entire budget for PPRTA number 3, almost 20%. So it's 2 miles that you're spending a fifth of your budget on that. I have not been able to obtain yet, nor have I been denied, the details of each one of these 4 projects. But if you go out and look at the road, it does need help. It does not have curb and gutter, and it does not have sidewalk. But the rest of the road, it's not functioning in an unsafe manner. It doesn't have a volume problem. It's already 4 lanes. It doesn't have a right-of-way issue. Now, one of the things that you well know this spring, they borrowed money from the utilities department to buy the right-of-way from the railroad. And that is part of this budget, and that's fine. I want to also be clear that I personally and the Old North End is not against the North Nevada renewal project. But here's the problem you're going to be faced with. You are about to spend a fifth of your entire budget supporting a renewal, not a traffic problem. And it specifically says on each one of these projects, in support of redevelopment in North Nevada, right? This is urban renewal that you're going to be spending money on in support of it. Now, is this necessary? Well, if you go up the street a ways to the University Village, one of the most successful shopping centers recently developed in Colorado Springs, they did that without any help other than the normal allotments of project money that's given by the city for landowners adjacent. This is clearly outside of the bounds of that. The University Village, along with UCCS, was able to develop that stretch, and it's as good as you'll find any place, including the pedestrian underpass. So you don't have to do that. You can do like they did, form an improvement. The landowners, I say you, the landowners can form an improvement district and make the improvements that are necessary. The PPRTA does not need to pay for this. This is over and above. Just do the math. This is the largest project that you have in the entire PPRTA 3. More money than connecting towers to the interstate. That's pretty phenomenal. Why are we doing this? Well, that's the question I'm here to ask the board to look at and revise. Here's what I'm suggesting. The voters have approved this. I don't think they were fully informed, but that's a conjecture of mine. I would just suggest that you don't have to spend all that money. Spend it wisely, because when you go to get PPRT 4 approved, this will be an issue during urban renewal with the money that's supposed to be asphalt and concrete. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Schultz, for the comments. And I think that's in next year's, it's in the new PERTA projects, right? Okay, so when we get to that point, we'll want to definitely look at what we're doing. We'll be careful on how we spend the money, but we appreciate your comments. Is there anyone online or anyone else in the room who would like to comment? Okay. No one online, Jared? Okay. All right. Item number 4, approval of minutes from the September 11th, 2024 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review those? And if so, I'll take a motion to approve them.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Thank you. And a second? Okay, that has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item number 5 is the Citizen Advisory Committee report. Larry Tobias.
Larry Tobias, the first vice chair of the CAC. At our meeting on October the 2nd, 2024, the first item we had up was public comments. There were none. Financial reports were presented to us by Lisa, and the CAC was we're still in the positive territory, even though we're sort of following, we're falling back a little bit from what we were last year as far as increase, but at least we're still in the positive. And hopefully that will continue for the last 6 months of the year. City of Colorado Springs presented 12 contracts to the CAC. They were all approved by the CAC. El Paso County presented 1 contract. to the CAC, it was approved by the CAC. The City of Colorado Springs monthly service transfer report was information only, was provided to us by Land. The IGA, next item, IGA between the PPRTA and CDOT, and IGA between PPRTA and the City of Colorado Springs for a capital project grant was approved by the CAC. City of Colorado Springs project line transfer, this was approved by the CAC. City of Colorado Springs letter of support for bridge investment program grant application. It was also approved by the CAC. City of Colorado Springs, South Academy Boulevard, reconstruction project update. This was only information only. It was some interesting information that was presented to us, and you'll also get some interesting presentation on that this afternoon. The PPRTA 1 capital project update, information only. City of Colorado Springs monthly change order and property acquisition report, information only. City of Colorado Springs Powers North reimbursement update. Again, that was information only, but that project is moving along well. El Paso County monthly change order and property acquisition report, that was information only. Recent report of recent board actions, that was presented by Rick, and that was information only. The next item, draft Sixth Amendment of board policy number 34 and restated establishing IGA. Now it's been discussed between the board and the CAC for the last couple months, but with the help of the board attorney, Jennifer Ivey, she was able to present to the CAC, and you'll also see it today in your packet, a item 5.1.4 that is broken into phase 1 and phase 2, but it specifically lays out, the approval process for anything that is not included on the ballot measure that has been approved as Project A's. The interesting thing was, we've had last couple months, we've had a lot of discussion at the CAC. I read this and I presented it to the CAC members, and I said, any discussion from anyone? And everybody just sat there. And I said, we don't have any discussion? Well, in that case, do I have a motion for approval? And right away, got a motion for approval, a second for approval, and the CAC unanimously voted this change to policy number 34. So hopefully the board will also look at it in a positive light. Reappointment process for the CAC was presented by Rick as information only. Rick also presented the staff field review report. And as far as agenda topics for the CAC for the next meeting, there is an item South Academy project update. There was no communications, and as such, that ended the meeting. Does anyone have any questions concerning the CAC meeting last week?
Are there any questions? Thank you, Larry, for that report. I would entertain a motion to accept the Citizens Advisory Committee monthly report.
So moved. Lohinos.
I'll second John Graham.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Watching here to see. Okay, financial reports, 6A, Lisa, the reports are not available yet.
Nope, they're not available yet. I think we're about a day too soon.
Okay.
But they will be emailed out as soon as they are available.
All right, and then item 6B, we get to receive our budget.
Okay, does anyone still need a copy of the budget? No. Okay, well, this is built on the 150 million for sales and use tax estimate, plus an additional 10 million of interest revenue. This will look a little different than they did in the past because this is the first year for PPRTA 3. So in the comparison, there's a column for the 2024 estimated carryover, and those have to remain in PPRTA 2 projects, and then another column for the 25 projects. And this does include replenishing the capital reserves because we have a hard line between PPRTA 2 capital reserves and PPRTA 3. And so you'll see that $9 million adjustment for that. I think that's about it. It's going to be different on this one. Anyone have any questions?
Are there any questions on the budget? So what we need to do today is set a public hearing date of December 11th, 2024. So the motion should be to receive the budget and to set a public hearing date of December 11, 2024. Can I have a motion?
So
Move it.
moved.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
I waited for Randy that time. Any opposed?
Yeah, aye.
Okay, thanks, Randy. All right. Okay, so that passes. Now we're to the interesting item. Item number 8E, the City of Colorado Springs South Academy Boulevard Reconstruction Project Update. 8E. So Gail.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Gail Stewart, City of Colorado Springs. The reason why we asked to have this item moved up because we just wanted to provide an update on where we are with that project, some context of two items that you're going to hear.
Gail, would you mind speaking up or into the microphone?
Yes. We start. Is this better? Can folks in general hear me? Okay, thank you. So I wanted to give you an update and context of where we are with the project before we enter into the contract items, because the first two items are related to Academy Boulevard. Academy Boulevard kicked off the engineering process in November of 2020. When we did go through construction bidding in the middle of 2022, where we had the north segment and the south segment. The north segment is one of the PPRTA 2A listed projects, and it goes from Bijou to Airport Road. And then we refer to the south segment, which is from Fountain to Milton Proby Parkway. At the time we did the bid package, the north segment was at 100% level, and the south segment was at a 90% level. We brought the construction contractor on, hoping that they would help us with construction phasing and be able to wrap that up. And also gave them the ability to proceed with some utility work that needed to be included with part of this project. The construction contractor began in earnest at the beginning of 23. And let me back up one more thing. When we did that construction bidding, that is very similar to a construction management general contractor contracting approach, which we've used very successfully in the past. It's also referred to as CMCG. The construction contractor has been proceeding, and they are near completion of all the work on the north segment, again from Bijou to Airport Road, and they've done some of the utility work on the south segment. As we've wrapped up the plans and completed them, we have reached an impasse as far as reconciling or coming to an agreement on the cost to complete the southern segment work. So we've been working with the construction contractor to essentially de-scope the remaining southern section work. So we have the ability to go out and bid and bring that work and do it in the future. And with this approach, we're able to come to a deductive change order, and you'll see this in our contract log for about $29 million. So that will be going back into the PPRTA coffers to be able to go through and pay for the additional work. And with this approach, it's been mutually agreed to by both the city and by the contractor, and will position us so we're not in a claims situation, which ultimately could cost us all a lot more. One of the things that I will mention, just so you have some context of why we reached an impasse, just on daily overhead or monthly overhead costs, as we were to move forward, was about 20 times the amount that we would expect to be able to see. So it really was not beneficial for us to continue on and to come to a reckoning, I guess, for an agreement on pricing. It really was not in the benefit for for our residents and for PPRTA. So you'll see the descoping item. Talking about the future. So we are working with AECOM, who is the engineer of record for this project, to really repackage the construction documents to be able to go out and do a best value procurement. That was where we'll be weighting the construction contractor's qualifications, along with their approach for construction phasing, their schedule, the way that they plan on dealing with potential impacts for businesses and adjacent properties in that area. So that will be weighted in addition to the cost component for the project. We anticipate that going back out for procurement towards the end of the year and having work begin on the southern segment in the spring of 2025. So that's really just an informational item to let you know where we have come full circle with that project right now. One other thing I will mention, and this is not covered in our memo, the contractor's projected schedule to complete the work without this deductive change order was much longer than what we would anticipate going in and starting over with a new construction contractor and getting their approach on construction phasing and the new schedule to be locked into. So even though it's maybe longer than what we were initially anticipating, we do not anticipate an overall general increase in construction duration in the area to complete the work. So that's the overview for the informational item. Questions on that?
Yeah, Yolanda.
So what is the duration if it starts in springtime?
So we would still, just with the length, and because it's the remaining underground utilities, we'd anticipate it started in the spring in 25 and wrapping up at the end of 26.
At the end of 26?
Yes.
Okay. So just a comment. I mean, that's my district. And for city council, several of the business, and it's not been the first time, owners have come before us to saying how it has completely impacted their businesses, from like thriving businesses to nothing. And so the whole last year, it was all blocked off, and all the businesses and everybody was impacted a great deal. And now we're starting over. I'm glad that we're going to start, I think, fresh and maybe with a much better result. But it has been trying. I'll just let everybody know that.
Yes, Commissioner Gonzalez and then Mayor Todd.
Thank you. I'd like to add also to Councilwoman Avila's concern, because I live down there on the south side, and I avoid that at all cost. So I can absolutely understand how businesses there are struggling and hurting. And we need to do everything that we can to get this thing fixed, on track, and support, an effective, efficient, completion of this project. The Southeast, we struggle, we suffer. And again, I'm one of those residents that go and do things. So if I'm avoiding it at all costs, that section, can imagine the people avoiding and not getting to those restaurants, not getting to any of the businesses there. So this is something that needs to get fixed. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just
Madam Chair.
Yeah, I'm just curious if this particular contractor is being used on anything else regionally.
They are definitely not working on any other city projects. I don't know if they have other active projects in the region. I do know they have projects in the Cheyenne, Wyoming area.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Councilmember Helms.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I want to throw my 2 cents into yesterday, as Councilmember Avila stated, we had several business associates there talking about their issues. I know that Gail was there hearing that too, and it just so happens I travel down that part of South Academy quite a bit. I have family down that way, and just, I use some of those businesses along that route, and I can tell you it is not good for them. And anything that we can do to get a better contract, and make it better, I want to emphasize that too. Thank you.
Okay, so we appreciate the update. I would just encourage in the management of the project as we get a new contractor on board. Let's keep some updates going and make sure they're accountable to this board and to city council, and see if we can light a fire under it and get it done sooner somehow. Because I saw the news media last night, and it is really upsetting for the business owners down there, and we'd like to see those businesses thrive. Anytime you have construction, it's something that we tend to avoid, and so we want to make sure that we're supporting the area there as best we can. But thank you for the update. So now we can go back. That's an information only item. And I think we might want to add that, just like the CAC has done, Rick, to have an update on that for a couple months until we're pretty sure it's going again. Like we do with the Powers Project. Just a little update informational so we can keep a close eye on the project. Okay, so now we'll go to item 7A, the City of Colorado Springs. Gail?
All right, yes, Madam Chair. So we have 12 contracts. First 2 are related to Academy Boulevard that you just received the information on. Behind the second contract, there is a map to show you the location, and both of these are PPRTA 2 A-list projects. So contract number 1 is that deductive change order in the amount of just over $29 million. And those funds will be reserved in that PPRTA 2 budget and used for future work. Contract number 2, it would be a change order to AECom's contract to provide engineering services to repackage the new bid package to go out for the best value contractor selection. They would also help us with business coordination, public engagement, and they would provide technical services or engineering services during the construction piece. That is in the amount of $374,035 for that change order. Contract number 3 is for the Circle Drive Bridge Replacement Project. This is PPRTA 2 A-list projects, actually 4 A-list projects. We went through an RFP process to select construction management services where Benish was selected. We gave them an initial contract to provide services for 18 months, not knowing exactly what the total contract duration for construction at that time. We now know that, and that was, so we put the initial contract for 18 months. We now know that construction is anticipated to run through the end of 25. And so we would like to extend this construction management contract through January 2026 to Benish in the amount of $1,470,077. Contract number 4 is for the Dublin Boulevard improvements. This is a PPRTA 3 A-list project where we've been using a roadway safety and traffic operation program funds to advance the engineering so we can make the Dublin Boulevard improvements between Peterson and Mark Shuffle, really a phase of the Mark Shuffle construction that's currently ongoing. Future costs for this project will come from PPRTA 3 funds. This amount or this task order would be to Basis Partners in the amount of $499,614.75. And there is a map included in your packet. The fifth project is for the sidewalk infill program. The sidewalk infill program actually consists of two A-list PPRTA programmatic funds. It is the pedestrian improvements citywide and the school and neighborhood pedestrian improvements. We combine those together. With that program, we've also taken or gone to other PPRT entities to help go through and do improvements on Cheyenne Boulevard, on Cheyenne Mountain Road, to provide sidewalks, pedestrian improvements, and crossings over bridges. Where we put a package together, where we've gone through an RFP process where we selected Even Pricer, and the contract amount would be in $3,594,855 from various funding sources as listed in the memo. I will let you know that this is really all for the sidewalk intersection improvements that on those roads where there really is no pedestrian mobility existing today. When that's done, this is going to be advance of the city's 2C program. I'll let you know 2C only does concrete work if there's an existing issue that's necessary to preserve pavement or to provide ADA accessibility. This is a case where there is no sidewalk. So the sidewalk infill program is the right way for us to approach adding that pedestrian mobility. Contract number 6 is for the Tejon Street revitalization between Colorado and Kiowa. There is a map located in your package. This is for streetscaping and expanded amenities space improvements along these areas, along with intersections improvements at Pikes Peak and Tejon Street. As you can see in your memorandum, there are several different funding sources, but the city, in conjunction with the downtown partnership, received a Revitalizing Main Street grant, which it was a $2 million grant, of which $1.6 million is still available for construction. We have intersection improvements, which are PPRTA funds in the amount of just over $2 million. And then the city's parking enterprise and the downtown business improvement district would all be contributing funds. For a total contract value that went through an RFP process to Even Pricer in the amount of $7,245,333, of which the PPRTA portion would be $2,004,700. I'm going to talk about contracts 7, 8, and 9 together. This is for edge lit traffic control signs. The city went through an RFP process where we had 7 respondents. We selected 3. These are for 3 base year contracts, and the city has the option for extending for up to 4 one-year periods. The first contract would go to traffic system controls in the amount of $200,000. The next one would be for AM signals in the amount of $200,000. And the third one is for traffic and parking control in the amount of $50,000. And these signs are really, or this LED lighting is really meant to promote traffic safety operations. So it can be used to modify existing signs, or it can be used on new signs that can be put in areas that are triggered to bring attention to the signs and really hope to reinforce the intent of whether it's bringing the sidewalk to the attention or if it's a straight speed indicator, just saying if it was a 25-mile-an-hour zone, if it says you're going 35, it just brings it to your attention. It is not in any fashion an enforcement tool. And I want to make sure that that's clear. It is really solely for the purpose of traffic safety. City's 10th contract is for Rustic Hills to do pave the final section in there on Half Moon between Broken Circle and Brady Road. The city went for an invitation for bid process. We did receive 2 bids. They were both within the opinion of probable construction cost prepared by our engineer. the selected or low bid was within within a few percentage of our cost estimate. And we want to issue this work to Elite Surface Infrastructure in the amount of $482,608.25. And that would be paid for with PPRTA maintenance funds. And there is a map in your packet. The city's 11th contract is for the Black Forest Road widening. This is a PPRTA 2 A-list project. There is a map included in your packet. This is for an extension of construction management services. The city did go through an RFP process where we initially had 5 respondents. We selected Basis Partners. This is to extend their services from September 2024 through May 2025. So that project is anticipated to be substantially complete in November. But there is going to be some revegetation and other things that are going to take us into the spring after the road is open. So we want to make sure our construction management firm is available. And the city's 12th contract is for Mark Shuffle Road improvements. This is a PPRTA 3 A-list project. There's a map included in your package. You can actually see in this map too, if you're looking at it, where you can see the package 2, which is Mark Shuffle in Dublin, which you heard under contract number 4. This is to provide funding underneath the roadway safety and traffic operations to have Kramer North America help us with pre-construction services with the project, start utility work north of Tamlin, which is where the next phase of work will go. Do early procurement of materials and start putting the utility duct banks in the area. So this task order is in the amount of $1,011,191.37. So those are the city's 12 contracts. I'm happy to take any questions.
I actually have one question. Does the city own all of Mark Shuffle now?
We
Just
own it, but it is not in the city's jurisdiction. That makes sense. We have a deed for the roadway and now the easements, I believe. But we will be going through an annexation process here in the next couple of years. But
Okay,
we are still taking on the ownership.
so we gave you the dip.
The dip is gone.
Okay, yeah, we were
It's
pointing
a-
that out to our kids when we were driving
Yes,
there.
it is a
week ago.
new bridge in the city's inventory that we'll be pulling in here as we take substantial completion of that work. So they're near completion from North Carefree up to Tamlin.
Mhm.
And so this is really to keep going from Tamlin north to Dublin. And then we talked about Dublin earlier.
Yes.
So-
All right. Do we have, let's see, if there are no other questions, a motion to approve the city contracts?
I'll move approval of the Colorado
Brett?
Springs contracts as presented. John Graham.
Randy Helms, second.
Thank you, Randy. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, that passes. Thank you. El Paso County, Josh.
Good afternoon. Josh Palmer, County Engineer. The county has one contract to bring before you today. The county is requesting to enter into a reimbursement agreement with Melody Homes to support the construction of a portion of Eastonville Road. There's a map attached to this packet. Eastonville Road from McLaughlin to Latigo, I believe. Yes, Latigo. Is a PPRTA 2 A-list project, which we've broken up kind of into phases, as you see here, to account for the specific needs of this corridor. Melody Homes is developing on the east side of Eastonville in between Londonderry and Rex Road. And for those who live up there, this portion is the segment that is still gravel road on Eastonville. It's paved to the south and paved to the north, but this middle section, for whatever reason, is gravel. And Melody Homes has a requirement to improve a portion of this road as a result of their development. So in reviewing the requirements for their road impact fee requirements, we determined that there would be an economy of scale in having this work done all at once rather than coming in and doing it piecemeal, kind of coming in first or last and doing some of the improvements. So we determined after reviewing the design, and the cross-section requirements. We estimate a total cost to improve this segment of the road to be $6.25 million. And so we are wishing to enter into a reimbursement agreement with Melody Homes for an amount not to exceed $4 million. However, our expected cost is $3.25 million based on the most recent engineer's estimate.
Well, thank you. That's a good mix of a road impact fee and PERTA funds, so we appreciate the foresight. Any questions on this? Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve El Paso County's contract.
So moved, Lojinos.
Second, John Graham.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? That passes. Thank you, Josh. I see we have Lan online to give our transit report.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Apologies for reporting remotely. Good afternoon, PPRTA Board. My name is Lan Rao, Transit Services Division Manager. In your packet today is our monthly transit report. For August of this year, we wrapped up our zero fare program in 2024. And as a reminder, we were able to provide 2 months of zero fare this year compared to 3 months last year. Unfortunately, we were not able to break our records that we set last year. Could be many factors contributing to this, but one of the things we thought it might have some impact on this ridership increase is because we did have one more weekday in August last year, which weekdays tend to have a higher ridership compared to the weekends. So we didn't break the record, but we were very close to break even from last year. Also included in your packet is our transit highlight on the ZEP ridership report. We started the downtown shuttle service, also called ZEP, on May 22nd, 2022. And in your package, you will see a table listing the monthly ridership information for the ZEP. We hit our highest ridership in March and April 2023. And that's actually when we started having a new contract with Transdev, who put a huge effort on hiring drivers because we had a driver shortage situation during COVID. So they really put an effort on hiring drivers. And we did see that ridership increase along with more services being provided. However, since then, we experienced a vehicle shortage and also a new driver shortage situation that emerged this year. So as a result, the ridership has been lower compared to 2023. Again, this is a fixed route service. We do not have the individual passenger information, but some of the factors that we listed included in the report that could have contributed to the ridership decrease. Top of the list, we think it's because of the reduced frequency. Because we had to cut service due to driver shortage or vehicle shortage, people were not able to rely on that more frequent service. The services were designed to run every 7 to 10 minutes. However, we saw sometimes down to every 20 minutes. That could be one reason. And also, since we had to dispatch the larger ZEP buses in our other services, we were forced to use those retired ADA paratransit vans, and it took us a little while to get this under contract and paint them with this traditional ZEP color. So that took a little while, and people were not able to recognize the vehicle. So these are and some other factors that we included in the report. Also in the report, we listed the ridership per revenue service hours information. How does that relate to the vehicle, or in other words, reliable service? So in the end, we are not seeing the same level of ridership on the ZEP compared to last year. However, because of the uniqueness of this program, we are able to confirm our understanding of how important it is to have reliable, frequent, and also easy to recognize service for our ridership. So those are lessons learned, and we continue to improve based on what we learned. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Councilman Avila.
More of a comment, Lan. So I stopped using the downtown shuttle a year ago because I could get there faster walking. And it was just so convenient when it first started up. But like I do a lot of speaking engagements at Colorado College, and it's just easy for me to it was really easy to take the shuttle, but the truth is frequency matters. And a lot of times you get less and less ridership with less frequency, and you get increased ridership with increased frequency. So it's always a struggle, especially with not having the vehicles when we need them, or they go offline and the driver shortage. So I'm hoping that we can have everything together soon. And I know another thing that may have affected, I know we didn't talk about it, but the frequency on Route 27, which is South Academy Boulevard, was in the past year is all that construction. So our non-construction that look like construction. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the report too. It helps to see that correlation between reliability and ridership. So we appreciate that. Any other comments? Okay. Thank you very much, Lan. We appreciate it. 8B is the IGA between Pikes PPRTA and CDOT and Pikes PPRTA and the City of Colorado Springs for a capital project grant. Gail.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Gail Stewart event. Just as a reminder, in July of 2022, PPRTA applied for a grant on behalf of the City of Colorado Springs for a state-funded MMOF grant for the Sinton Trail crossing at Centennial Boulevard. The overall grant funds were in the amount of $6,145,450, and there is a 50% local match required for that. One thing I will mention as I go through this, in this case, the local match is going to be coming from the City of Colorado Springs. It is not coming from PPRTA, but there is a PPRTA A-list trail program referred to as Sinton Trail. So we want to use that as a conduit to be able to receive those funds as presented in July of 2022. Now has come the time where we're actually into an ability to start receiving those funds or reimbursements of those funds from the state. So in doing so, this requires a couple different actions. It requires CDOT and PPRTA to enter into an intergovernmental agreement, or IGA, basically so PPRTA can receive the funds. And there's a second IGA between the city and PPRTA. So basically any conditions that come with the money are passed from PPRTA to the city. You will see in your packet the cities, both of those IGAs, the CDOT and PPRTA one is the red line version, but that has been reviewed by the city's legal counsel and PPRTA's legal counsel, and it is with CDOT to circulate that for signature. The reason why you see the red line is because they only send it for signature through DocuSign. So we don't actually get it until we have approvals to go through and enter it into that. The other things I have here just for your information is the original grant application, a copy of Policy 31, which was put in place and what the city used to be able to work with PPRTA to apply for these grant funding, and a vicinity map for this project. So what we're asking today is for the board's approval for PPRTA to enter into the two IGAs, one with CDOT and one with the city, to be able to receive and execute these grant funds, and also allow these grant funds to be put into our budget so we can obligate the funds against the budget and be able to go through and execute this project. I'm happy to answer questions. I know it's a lot of different steps, but hopefully I can lay them out, but I'm happy to answer questions if you have them.
Okay, so once we go to sign this, the red lines come out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it gets circulated and we have, either they send it to me before to make sure, or the last time I actually physically came over with Rick to make sure the red lines that were agreed upon by our attorneys were there before he signed that. And with this approval, he would be giving Rick the ability to sign that on PPRTA board's behalf.
Okay. All right. I think all of that works out. So with that, are there any further questions? If there's no questions, I'll take a motion to approve item 8B.
Yolanda Avila, move to approve.
Thank you.
Mayor Dixon, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, letter 8C, the City of Colorado Springs Capital Projects Line Item Transfer.
Yes, Madam Chair, Gail Sturtevant again. The city is requesting to do a budget line item transfer to move $400,000 out of the West Fillmore. Let me back up. These are both projects I'm going to talk about are PPRTA 2 A-list projects. I would like to remove $400,000 out of the West Fillmore over unnamed channel bridge replacement project because that project is complete and we are closing that out. And move $400,000 over to the Galley over Sand Creek Bridge Replacement Project, which is starting construction, and we're projecting to need about $400,000 more available. So I'm requesting the board's favorable approval to make this budget adjustment.
Okay, are there any questions? I will take a motion to approve item 8C.
Move to approve. It's pretty exciting that we have money left over on that and that project's completed.
Yes,
Getting on to another one.
it is.
I'll second John Graham.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that passes. 8D, the letter of support for the Bridge Investment Program grant application.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Gail Sturtevant again. The city is applying for one of the programs under the Bridge Investment Program programs. I know that seems redundant, but underneath that program that was included in the IIJA, there are 3 different ones. We were successful in applying for a planning grant for the Fillmore Bridge Replacement Project, which is a PPRTA 3 A-list project. And we're doing that work right now. But we now have the opportunity to go and apply for additional funds to help us through the rest of engineering and construction. So the city planning underneath this grant program to ask for $48.5 million. And then approximately $21 million would be the local match piece of that. And we're proposing to use that PPRTA 3 A-list project for the local match piece of this. This would really give us the ability to free up some PPRTA dollars, but also we know as we're starting to kick off this project, the railroads are asking for more requirements under the bridge project. So this project has always also got more expensive. So I think this is a great opportunity for us, one, to help PPRTA be successful in delivering this future A-list project. And the last thing I'll mention, the match requirement underneath this grant program is a 20% minimum match. We're going to be closer to 30%. And it's really to make us more competitive for these funds. So I have provided a draft of the letter recommendation. I worked with Jennifer Ivey and Rick Sonnenberg today. I have tweaked the last or second to last sentence a little bit just to be consistent with our budget language. But I think that we're still going to be asking for PPRTA's support and funding commitment of knowing that we'll have to show this in our future budgets. So I'm happy to answer questions and I appreciate your support in advance.
Okay, any questions? I will take a motion to approve letter 8D.
I'll move approval of item 8D. John Graham.
Mayor Dixon, second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Letter 8F, Pikes Peak RTA 1 Capital Projects Update. Is that Gal again? Gal,
So,
here's the start
I'm
of the
going to
show.
kick it off, and if Josh Palmer from the county would like to add something to us. But one of the things the CAC asked us last month is to give an update on PPRTA 1. We do include this in our quarterly report. But one of the things that we realized, we had $168 still remaining in an account that was assigned to the city. And then the county has received some reimbursement for utilities. It was a cost share. So there is now $126,361 available that can go towards Mark Shuffle Road. And so we worked with Lisa over this past week. And so we'll be allocating those funds towards Mark Shuffle Road here over the next few weeks.
Oh, okay.
I believe
Thank
that
you.
was informational only.
Yeah, that is information only. So, Josh, did you have anything to say other than it's great?
Yes, it's great.
Awesome.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, 8G, City of Colorado Springs monthly change order.
Yeah, the city's change order log and the real estate log are included for your packet as informational. I'm happy to answer any questions should you have any.
Are there any questions? Okay, 8H is the City of Colorado Springs Powers North reimbursement update.
Yeah. So great. For the Powers Boulevard extension, underneath the reimbursement agreement of September 12th, 2023, we are just keeping you updated on costs that have been incurred underneath that reimbursement agreement. To date, Copper Ridge Metro District, is one of the 4 parties of that agreement, has spent just under $9 million, of which just under $8 million is subject to PPRTA. The one thing I will add, and it's the last sentence in the introductory paragraph, we are also anticipating approximately $1.9 million in utility relocation costs that we'll anticipate paying directly from PPRTA to the utility. So I just wanted to make sure that you know, since that's in conjunction with the work that's ongoing now, that we're bringing that to your attention, knowing that it's a future reimbursement by the PPRTA. Any questions on informational update?
Okay, I don't see any questions. Thank you. And then 8I, the El Paso County monthly change order report.
Just like with the city, the county's property acquisition and change order log is available, and I'm able to answer any questions you may have.
All right. Any questions? Were we ever able to get with Douglas County on the Beacon Light Road issue?
The best that I can say is that it's still ongoing.
Okay,
The ball is in their court. It's
all right.
been in their
Well,
court for a while.
have to see if we can't move that back. All right. Okay, 9A, we're up to the draft 6th amended and restated establishing IGA with a correction in 5.1.4. Go ahead, Jennifer,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
or go ahead, Rick.
As the board will recall from your discussion last month, having found the impasse between the original establishing IGA, that only allows simple majority votes versus the board's preference in the mid 2022, the board chose the preference for the regional collaborative project called State and Federal Discretionary Grant Match Fund Phase 1. The board decided in 22, when adding that item as a capital project in the PPRTA 3 list, which the voters did approve, at that time, the board preferred that B list and non-listed capital projects be allowed access to that new state and federal discretionary grant match fund, but only by a 2/3 supermajority vote. Then we discovered that the establishing IGA only allows simple majority votes. So when we looked at alternatives for addressing the impasse, the board decided with the CAC's recommendation to amend the establishing IGA that currently is the 6th, but you have a draft 6th amended and restated establishing IGA with the 2 sentences in 5.1.4 that allow for the supermajority for this particular situation. So I'll yield to Jennifer Ivey in a few seconds for the exact motion, but I think the motion would be to accept the draft language and refer it out to the 6 member governments for their review, because the establishing IGA is an IGA between the 6 member governments. It's not under the absolute control of the PPRTA board. So with that, I'll yield to Jennifer for the exact wording of the motion.
Everyone's done such a good job today. I didn't think I was going to have to speak at all, but no, that is the motion. We also just corrected a couple of other, obviously we updated it for 6th amended, found a reference to the PPRTA 3 ballot that had been omitted previously. But otherwise, it really is just the corrections at 5.1.4, which effectuate the board's request.
Okay, so this has to go in front of all of our member governments, councils, and county commissions. And so I will entertain a motion to accept the draft language and to refer to the 6 member governments, the 6th amended and restated establishing IGA.
Lohino, so moved.
Mayor
Randy
Dixon.
Helm, second.
Awesome. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Lohinos. That one passes. Oh, any opposed? No one's opposed. Okay. Thank you. That passes. 9B, appointment and reappointment process for Citizens Advisory Committee members. Rick.
As the board is aware, CAC members have staggered terms, with about a third coming up, having their terms expire December 31 of any 1 year. In your packet is the memo that shows the 6 CAC members whose terms are up December 31 of this year, and the CAC members from member governments are appointed or reappointed by those member governments. So in this case, Karen Asplund, Dave Zelenak, and Bruce Colson would each need to apply for reappointment from their respective member governments. As the board's aware, in the CAC bylaws, the CAC members from the member governments have terms, but no term limits. Now, with regard to the at-large regular and at-large alternate members, those 3 on your list each have are coming to the end of their first full term, so they would need to request reappointment through me to the board, and then we would take those requests to the board subcommittee. Board has a policy that delegates to a board subcommittee comprised of the board chair, board vice chair, and the CAC chair the initial review of candidates for reappointment or appointment of the at-large regular and at-large alternate members. Since the CAC has 2 vacancies, standing vacancies, and then Mr. Lee, as you can see, number 6 on the list, has just sent me an email saying he is not requesting to be reappointed. So you now have 3 vacancies in the at-large alternates. So my recommendation of the board is a motion directing PPRTA staff to advertise for the vacancies and give about a month for those responses, and then bring those back to the board subcommittee comprised of the board chair, board vice chair, and the CAC chair for review, and then a recommendation to the full board. So that's my recommendation for a motion.
Okay, so the motion would be to advertise for 3 new members to the CAC board, 1 regular, 2 associate. Nope, just 3. And to authorize Rick to go ahead and advertise for that. Do we have a motion?
Mayor Osborne.
Okay, all right, we have a first.
I'll second John Graham.
And a second from Mayor Graham. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, Rick, item 9C, our staff field review report.
Just an information item of my drive around windshield survey to confirm the completion of projects, both capital and maintenance, that have been reported by the member governments for the second quarter of this calendar year. So just an information item. Be glad to take any questions.
Are there any questions? Okay, there being no questions, agenda topics for the next meeting. We did want to have regular updates on Academy Boulevard, make sure that gets going where we want. Any other agenda topics for our next meeting? Okay, item 11, does anyone have any PERTA member announcements? I've heard the leaves are down. That stops the traffic going up in the mountains. So, okay. Go ahead, Yolanda.
I shared this at PPACG, but council will be moving their meeting from 10 a.m. to 9 a.m. Starting on November. Our council meeting in November. Just thought everybody should know. Since I've been on council, when I started, our meetings were at 1 p.m. Then they went to 10 p.m. and now it's 9 a.m. Somebody asked earlier if that's permanent, and I would say no, it just depends who's on council.
Yeah. It's really interesting because everybody wants to speak in front of their city council, which we appreciate city council gladly taking on that responsibility over at the county commission level. We don't get anywhere near as many. So, all right. I think we're done. Let's adjourn and we'll see you next month. This meeting is adjourned.